Hello viewers, welcome to my channel PC Duo Kimberlite, a source of diamonds. Today we are going to see a important topic from micropaleontology, that is the field techniques in collection of microfossils. So here we will see today field techniques in collection of microfossils. I am Dr. Sajid Undekar, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Geology, AKI, Pune College of Art, Science and Commerce, Camp Pune, Maharashtra, India. So, micropaleontology. Now, for this we require a special technique is required. So, in topic, this topic we will divide it into field equipments, where to look for microfossils, types of samples, sampling techniques, recovery of fossils. If it is possible, we'll make in this. Otherwise, if it is become big one, then we will make the recovery of fossil as a separate topic. Then uses of fossil I made as a separate because I feel this topic will become a very big one. So uses of fossil already uploaded on my channel PC Geo Kimberlite, and that is a short video is there. So you can watch it and enjoy that uses of fossils. So here field equipment, where to look for fossil, microfossils, type of samples, sampling techniques, and if possible, we will take a recovery of microfossil. Yes. Field equipment. What are the field equipment required for the micropaleontologist? That is a very, very important. Whenever a micropaleontologist is planning to go for field work, he has to have the first one, the abundant, what topic, what exactly the fossil he wants it to looking for, whether you want a foraminifera, osteropod, conodon, what will be the age, and once you make out, then he has to go on refer the various research papers in which particular area we are going to get this particular micro fossils on the field or off field. We can make out that, and with this we have to start getting the research material. Then the next one, very important, once he has got this one, then the next very important one, topo sheet map of that area where he is going for that. And after completing these two important things, keeping in the mind how many days he has to plan for the micro fossils collection tour is there, whether it is 7 days, 4 days, whether it is 2 weeks planning is there. So he has to properly plan. Then accordingly, the rest of the thing he has to start making note downing the things that these are the requirements will be there for the field work. The first foremost field notebook. This will be required. The field notebook is because wherever he is taking the observation, reading is taken down, note down in the field, what are the characters of the rock which are exposed, what thing he will make the sketches, what will be the thickness of the rocks will there, what will be the nature, he try to find out whether it is calcareous, siliceous is there, whether it is limestone, shale, whether it is conglomerate, any particular rock which are exposed in that particular section, he has to note down. So diary is a very important one. Then the color pencil will be required. Pencils are required. Then the picks, small picks are required. Shoals are required. Steel tapes are required to measure the length. You have to measure the clinometer compass, Burton compass. Nowadays we have the GPS is there. So to make down the proper location of that particular map, these are the compass are required. Then the sample haversack is required. Very important one. Number of pockets will be there for this haversack, and hand lens. This is the microfossils are there. So hand lens is there and it has to be 10x magnification, whichever how much magnification is there. Then 10% dilute HCl water, fine plastic brush is required, clean the surface brush is required, pointed brush is required. So these are the various type of brush will be required. Dry cotton pieces will be required. Plastic bottles, light hammer and picking equipment will be required. And in addition, we require a carry bag. So thick carry bag will be required. How much quantity of sample you want to collect, whether you want 1 kg or 2 kg, the friable material is there, rock is there. So on the basis of that, we will fragile material is there. First clean the surface, weathered material which is there, erode, and now fresh rock sample you have to collect, so that whatever the sample which is there, they will be intact, and they are not, wear and tear has been taken place. So fresh material has to, loose material has to put into the carry bag, and on the, with the help of the stapler, pin up everything so material should not be come out. Write down with the marker pen. The labeling has to done. For example, today is my first day is there. So number of, say 10 people are there. So I will write first SH. That is my initial. SH/1. That is first location, first day, oblique first sample, first day, first location, and there itself, and whatever I'm going to get down, 1, 2, 3, 4, that will be the number that will be write down, and the same number will be written over there. Write down the description in the thing, and this thing will be put into the cotton bag is there. Tight that cotton bag. It is so there will be thread will be there on that cotton bag, and on that also with the marker write down the number and put it into the haversack. It is hard rock is there, directly can put on the number. So this will be on the based on the what type of rock you are going to get in the field, whether you are going to get a fragile material or it is a hard rock. So that then the chisel, hammer is required. Yes, so these are the things which will be required into the field. In addition to this, if we are particularly season we have to choose for better for the field work. It should not be a monsoon, it should not be a very hot climate, that is in the summer. So in between, the winter is going to end and the summer is going to start. So probably December and the first week of Jan, we will prefer this month for sampling the field work, and early in the morning that will be the best one. So can finish it out as early as possible, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and complete this work. You are walking into the fields, the terrains are there. So hard terrain, marshy terrain is there. So you have to have the sport shoes are there. Whatever the pants which are you are going to wear or shirts we are going to wear, they should be a light color. Yes, they should not be a tight one, loose one. Sweating should not be there. So they should not be a dark color. So that also the precaution has to be taken. Then hat has to be there. Whatever the pockets are there, there should be number of pockets should be there on the shirts as well as on the pants, so that whatever the clinometer, compass, chisel, whatever you are going to take it out, put it there itself. So the thing should not be put into the ground. So might be you're going to lose while you're going to the next spot. So that things are very, very important one when you are going to make out. The SCL bottle which is there, you have to make a separate one, and one drop you have to put onto that rock itself. So if the references come out, then we can confirm that the rock is the calcareous one. Similarly, one if we get the fossil, tiny one, put on that, try to check it out whether it's calcareous is there or fossil. So you can make up with a simple test. One norm that will be the easy one to get the bottle, but that is a very handy one. So water bottle is required. Plastic bottles are also there. They can fill over there and write down the number on that. So that is there. Light hammer, geological hammer is there. That has to be there. In addition, lot of we require the papers. Yes, newspaper, old newspapers to wrap the material. So while put into the haversack, number of things you have been walking. So they should not be wear and tear has to be taken place while you're walking. So there should be, you put the paper. So minimum wear and tear has to be done. So these things to be there. Then hat should be there. Water bottle should be there. Then camera has to be there. Professional camera. If you have the mobile or a high resolution mobile is there, then that will be a good one. But one thing is that you should not be kept into the field. Take a proper precautions while you are going to the next spot. Check out anything should not be left behind, because when you have been going again next spot, you have been going to, so anything is loose, then you are going to make out your lost timing. So planning has to be done properly. So way how you're going to make out the things into the field, that will be there. So these are the what we have. The things properly has to be maintained, and how many days, then sleepers, the for the evening you have to be wear. So the sport shoes, not a leather shoes has to be there, not be there. So these are the things keep into the mind when you are going for a field work, and always borne in mind that fragile, delicate nature, and because of the small size of the collection, microfossil require perfection. So here, perfection is required, delicacy is required, neatness is required, and very important, patience are required. So this thing, when you have been sitting over there properly, make a systematic how you're going to feel. There should not be any contamination has to be done, or whatever the weathered material is there, from there the material should not be taken out. It will be a fresh surface. You have to choose, put it out the hammer, clean the surface area with the brush and all. Then from that fresh area you have to collect the sample. So the in the field you require a perfection, delicacy, neatness, and patience. A skillful use of hammer, that is very very important. When you are going to use the hammer it out anything, or chisel you have to make it out. So you should not be cut the samples. Yes, so when you are going to make it out, use it, hammer it properly. Perfect sampling plan, meticulous packaging, and careful preservation are the factors which control the success of the field work. If you're not done properly and you are not done pin up properly, put it into a cotton bag, wrap it out, and after wrapping again with the old newspaper, that will be minimized. Or sometimes we'll use the cotton also, so that they, while in the traveling also there will be wear and tear. So contamination, two samples should not be mixed. So these are the very very important one. Perfect sampling plan, meticulous packaging, and careful preservation. These are the three very very important one there in the field. So once you've done this one, then your success of the field work will be very nice. All sedimentary rocks are not fossil. Keep in mind, when you're going for a field work, keep in your mind every sedimentary rock should not have the fossil. Usually marine sediments show both macro as well as macro and micro as well as mega fossil will be there. Vertebrates, invertebrate will be there. Coarse elastic sediments are avoided. Yes, whenever you have coarse sediments are there, you have to avoid, because there will be less fossilization will be there, since they contain very less or no fossils. Sediment containing abundant megafossil are more likely to contain some microfossils. So that has to be very carefully, you have to observe in the field. You have to open your eyes in the field and observe, plan out properly, think carefully, study properly, analyze yourself, and try to interact with your subordinates, so that the thing should be done properly, and whatever you have done, write down in your diaries. That is the very very important. And where you have to look for the fossils in order to importance of as strata yielding microfossils, the following lithological types are listed and described briefly. Is the first one, thin layers of argillaceous mudstone and claystone in fossiliferous limestone. You have to check for the argillaceous mudstone and claystone in fossiliferous limestone. Most fossils have calcareous hard part, hence will most abundant in calcareous sediments. Limestone and dolomites, calcareous as well as siliceous microfossils. In limestone and dolomite, you will get the calcareous as well as siliceous microfossils. Spelling mistake is there, so I apologize for here. The intercalation of calcareous shell interbedded with limestone also yields sufficient number of microfossils. Fine-grained sandstone, silty sandstone, siltstones, micaceous glauconitic sandstones show many fossils. And in cyclic deposit, fissile black shell commonly contain excellently preserved microfossil, particularly chitinous phosphatic remains including conodonts, plant spores, pollens, insects, and remains and pyritized fossils. Marine shells occasionally show some fossils of agglutinated foraminifera, diatoms, or radiolarias. In addition to the above rock types, soft calcareous shells, siliceous shells, mudstone, marl, it is not a marl, it is a marl, dolomites, chalk, and coal are also known to contain variety of microfossils. All rocks of sedimentary origin may contain microfossil, but the numbers and variety is that is very important. All sedimentary rock which are there in the origin, they contain microfossil. They are the marine one. Then the numbers, variety, and state of preservation is very greatly depending upon is the whatever the preservation is there, it is greatly depend upon what nature of the what we have the test is there, what is the age is there, what is the origin of rock. So these are the things: nature, age, and origin. That is a very important one for making microfossils. The preference of collection should be given to those rocks which could be disintegrated easily. Yeah, those rocks which are disintegrated easily, obviously marl, sandy clays, shales are the worth considering for collection. So marl, it is not a mark, marl, MARL. Sandy clays, shales, etc. are worth considering for collection. The rock fragments with a representative of a particular horizon is called as paleontological sample. Yes, so what is a paleontological sample? Rock fragment is a representative of particular horizon. Is called as paleontological sample. When you are going to collect one sample from one rock, then we have to take the rock fragment of that particular rock, and that will be called as paleontological sample. Usually, two types of rock samples are look for microfossils. Yes, there are the two types of rock samples. Samples are look for microfossils. One, surface sample, that is outcrop. Naturally, wherever we go in a road cuts or in a river cut which is there, and that particular area or landslide which has taken place in that area vicinity, we can get the surface samples or subsurface, the borehole samples. Yes, drilling wherever has done from that borehole samples, we can pick out the microfossils. First, we'll see now the surface sample outcrops. Yes, first we'll see the surface samples. That is, we are going to collect the sample in the outcrops. Only the largest microfossils, such as a few ostracods and larger foraminifera, can be collected in the field in the same way as a megascopic fossils. They are visible on the weathered surfaces, bedding plains, or fresh broken surfaces of hard rocks. With the aid of lens, they can be superficially examined in the field. So this is the way once you go into the field, you're going to see the weathered rock areas are there. In that you have to go and check it out. Bedding plains, fresh broken surface of the hard rock, and there with the help of the hand lens, check out, examine the microfossils. About other microfossils, nothing can be seen on the field as they are generally not visible to the naked eye until they are recovered and separated from the matrix, that is a rocky material, in the laboratory. So those material which we could not see, the microfossils with your own eyes, we could not do anything unless and until we collect them, we separate into the lab from the matrix, and then under the microscope we can observe. Then we'll come to know whether whatever the sample we have collected, in that sample any fossils, microfossils we have got. So that is, once we got, it is we are going to get a good lucky one. The work of a micropaleontologist in the field usually consists in collecting not fossils but samples of rock which we believe may contain the fossils. That is the belief that the sedimentary rock contains the fossil. So that is the belief is there. So that's why we go into the outcrop and we are going to search for the fossil in sufficient number and satisfactory preservation. That is the two things. That is, we should get a sufficient number as well as the satisfactory preservation, whatever the the pre-existing microfossil is there that has been preserved in that particular rock. So we have to be believed. This is the micropaleontologist belief is there. However, systematic collection of surface sample by measuring land section need precise idea of different lithology. First, when you go into the section, just see that you will come to know from the colors what type of lithology is there in the vertical as well as horizontal succession. So you have to make the proper planning. Either the collection is for more nothing of occurrence of fossil or to reconstruct the depositional history of a basin. So many are going to make out these things that what is your plan is there. Just go on collecting the microfossils, or once you're collecting the microfossils from each bed, then what will be your aim is there. Not only just we have to collect the samples separate from the microfossil from the matrix, and once you collect it, we just want to know what are the fossils we got and what will be the morphology is there, then taxonomy is there. Yes, so that will be not a big issue, but the important one, if you how these sediments are deposited and the fossils are found, so what will be the paleo-environmental condition, paleoclimatic conditions. So we want to study that. So depositional history, how the fossils are occur or construct the depositional history of a basin. So that is a very, very important task for the microfossils. The samples for stratigraphic purposes are taken at a regular interval. If your planning is there, in a stratigraphic purposes is there, so stratigraphic technique you have to use. So which sampling technique we have to use into the field based on our aim, that is a very, very important one. Selection of interval, yes, selection of interval depends upon the ultimate object of the work. Yes, say example, within a 10 feet, there are, say, 30-40 beds are there, which are thickness is very less. But now, once you are starting collecting a sample from a thin layer, then how many are there? Then what will be there? So ultimate aim, what is our aim is there? How much should be the interval? At what regular interval have to collect the sample? That is a very, very important one. Selection of the interval that is there. Then the second one, thickness. What will be the thickness of the beds are there? Characters of the strata involved and the time available. So how much time is available with for the collection of samples, and what will be the intention is there behind the collection of sample. It has to be clear and broad so that you can get the technique properly, and you have to start working on that. Experience, that is a very important one. Those experienced paleontologists are there, they have already gone into the field, they have collected number of times the microfossils, and along with them the new research students has gone, so they can understand how this geologists have been doing a field work in the planning, and the experts, the teachers has to tell them that this is the exposure is there, then what are the techniques are there, how many techniques are there, and which technique we can apply in this particular section, because there may be you are going to get in a 1 day 4, 5, 6 section you may visit, and each section may have the different techniques you have to apply. So that technique you have to teach them, and at the same time tell them how to collect the sample. First sample he has to collect, and how he has to collect and put it into the bags and properly labeled and keeping properly into the haversack, he has to teach to the student. So that student also done the same with the same precautions they have to take, meticulously they have to do it, and with the patience, very important one. You have to teach them the patience that take a time, but do it properly, systematically, and arrange properly and carry them in a proper fashion. So the experience is the essential in collecting the microfossil sample should be taken at a measured intermediate position where lithologic changes and richly fossiliferous bands or lenses are noticed. Yes, anywhere in the field, once you are going to see, observe, you will find out so many changes are there in the field. Within this bed, there may be the fossiliferous. Sometimes we don't have the fossiliferous bed is also there. So what technique you have to use, what planning has to done, how you are going to make out the lithological changes the richly fossiliferous band. So you have to find out. In collecting, it should be remembered is when you're going to collect them, remember that as a rule of fossils washed from soft rocks can be more satisfactorily determined than those which are visible in thin sections of hard rocks. Yes, so that is the very remember that rule that fossils washed from soft rock can be more satisfactorily determined than those which are visible in thin section in the hard rocks. Collecting of representative rock specimen should be therefore be supplemented by a special search for the soft, easily washed rocks such as pure and sandy clays, marl, carbonate with Mg impurities, fine argillaceous sands, soft marls and shells. Thin bands, partings or intercalations of clays are often found in hard limestone and sandstone. So intercalation of clays will be found in the limestone as well as in the sandstone. So this is the observation, and every time the experts teacher has to be give them the feedback that these are the observations they have to observe, and everything has to be note down in the diaries and sketches, photographs they have to take properly. Now the second one, subsurface sample. Now whatever we have seen, outcrop is done. Now the second one, surface sample, borehole samples. Here the technique will be required because whatever the sample is there, it is a small one and is a precious one, because whenever you are taking a drill, it is a costly affair is there. So the sample, small sample will be given for the research purpose. So from that small sample, you have to find out the microfossil. So that is a very important one. So here, where the surface outcrops are poor or where the only the youngest rocks are exposed, sample from deep wells, particularly from cores, are the most suitable material for stratigraphic applications of micropaleontology. So those who are there in the remote areas, or if you want to take out the sample from 100 meters, 200 meters, 500 meters, 800 meters, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers down. So there you have to take the help of the microfossil, because if you want to go for searching the oil and natural gas, so we have been drilling out the material and we are trying to find out the source rock. Yes, that is the limestone, sandstone, shale, marl, and particularly in that we are going to search for the fossils, the pollens, spores, foraminifera, osteopods. So applications of paleontology is very important one for the boreholes. The subsurface sample constitute the drill hole case cores, cuttings are there, and fluid mud is there. Such samples are usually taken at regular interval, and a 10-foot spacing is often considered as a suitable. So regular interval of 10 feet. Yes, 10 feet will be taken and a sample will be collected and will be analyzed properly. The samples are taken either by breaking transverse slices or of the core or by chiseling a channel along its surface over a length of 2 or 5 feet and collecting the chips. So vertically or horizontally, you have to take the small chips of that particular core sample, and you have to go on making the analysis. Rock fragments known as cuttings are dislodged from the bottom of the rotary drill hole by grinding action of the bit and the hydraulic force of the mud stream, in which they are eventually suspended and carried to the surface and gathered in the special container. Yes, they are kept in a special container and the arrows have been marked. So which are the direction, that is bottom and top has been easily recognized, and the depth wise where what will be the depth is that has been mentioned properly on the boxes also, and on that particular core sample also it has been mentioned, so that anything if you want to make out the reference and find out, take it with you if you want to make the analysis of that particular core sample, whether it is contained of microfossils or not. So the details has been there, and with the logs we have to find out with the regular interval samples will be collected. The third subtype of borehole sample is fluid mud. When drilling proceeds in the soft sandy formation which disintegrated in the process, and the foraminifera test can be recovered directly from the mud fluid which is sampled in the bottle. So if the rock is a very soft and fragile is there and drilling is there, then at that time we could not get the core sample. So at that time from that flow, muddy flow, we can separate it out the microfossil, and we have to pick it out and put it into the proper plastic bottles. It is necessary in sampling and cutting to calculate the time in which the mud flow rises the bottom to the surface, so that the correct depth at the time of the release of the cutting into the well can be established. This is the very important calculation will be there when drilling is taking place. The outcrop is considered as subpopulation within the large rock exposure called population in the statistical sampling. Yes, next one, the title will be the sampling. So how you are going to make out the sampling of microfossils. Sampling is a procedure or technique of picking the representative rock samples in which paleontologists feel microfossils may be present. So when you are going to pick out any rock into the sampling techniques, the paleontologists believe that whatever sample I am picking out, in that it should contain the microfossil. So this is what we have. The belief is there of a micropaleontologist. Sampling for SY basin especially, we have only two sampling techniques are there, but in addition, and whatever the sampling techniques are there, I'll just verbally discuss out. Sampling in paleontology is of two types. Search sampling, just to go on searching, that is the objective is to locate the fossiliferous fossil horizon in thick sequence of rock layer. Search sampling, just you go on to find out sample, collect it out and put it out. That is a simple search sampling. Purposive sampling, the objective is to find certain diagnostic organism within the horizon known to be fossiliferous. So purpose, whether I wanted to just picking out the foraminifera, so that is my purpose is that. So purpose sampling, so the purposive sampling, that is called as, depending upon the field techniques, thickness of strata and their nature and occurrence, following methods of sampling sedimentary sequence are recommended. Yes, now here depending upon field conditions, thickness of strata and their nature and occurrence, following methods of sampling in sedimentary sequence are recommended. Spot sampling, channel sampling, statistical sampling. These are there in the FIBSc. So I taken these three. So first one we'll see the spot sampling. Spot, we are going to make out the spot sampling comprises of taking sample at predetermined stratigraphic level. Say I am going to make out that after regular 10 inches, I am going to take a sample, or after a regular 1 feet, I am going to collect a one sample. So that is my spot sampling. When predetermined stratigraphic level, when the area is under sampling consists largely uniform lithology. When you are going to make out this one, when whatever the bed which is exposed in that area, it is a large one. Say it may be a meter together, or it will be 10 feet are there. So that will be there. So in that we can make out that particular. Yes. So largely uniform lithology. Such thickness, thick limestone or shell stretching for a longer distance. For this we are using the spot sampling. Then spots at regular measured interval are selected along the transverse, and samples are from each spot will be collected. The spot samples are numbered 1, 2, 3, etc. like this in the field only, and enter in the diary and on the map. Spot sampling is also recommended for thin shells, clay horizons, or layer in sandstone and limestone. Wherever thin material is there, so which are uniform in thicknesses are there. So in that also the thickness will make out regularly, and can find out the whatever the distance will be there, where it will be less one. Second one, channel sampling. Channel sampling is about 15 centimeter deep are taken into short section. 10 to 50 feet are essentially uniform lithology or wherever there is a rapid alteration of bed which permits channel sampling of each unit. So from there 15-meter deep are taken in short section of 10 to 50 meters of essentially uniform lithology, and wherever there is a rapid alteration of beds are there which permit channel sampling of each unit. Small channels of 50 centimeter deep are at 3 to 4 meters interval are taken and include sample from each litho unit. Channel sample means cutting a channel normal to the bedding. Next one, statistical. So here we are number has been fixed. A principal attribute to the statistic sampling in its element of randomization, which assures that each fossil in the outcrop some chances of being included in the sample. So 100 sample, 200 sample. So whatever the sampling, we assume that in that area good sample we can collect it out. So we fix the number. I want 10 numbers of fossils. I want 5 numbers or 20 numbers. So on that we have to make statistical sampling method unable to collect various statistical sample in a single outcrop. A randomization minimizes or eliminates the bias in the collecting samples. Many times some unintentionally favored samples are collected and unknowingly neglected. Hence, to eliminate these unintentional bias in picking the samples in randomization is essential. The various sampling plans procedure for collecting statistical sampling are the 4 subtypes of the statistical sampling. In this statistical sampling, one is simple random sampling to determine the mean size of the adulated species, say X. Systematic sampling, sample are taken at equidistance. Cluster sampling, we are going to make a cluster and from there we are going to pick out. Stratified sampling, from the each stratified bed we are going to collect the sample. So these are the various parts which have been making out. In addition to this one, stratigraphic sampling, search sampling, spot sampling, channel sampling. Yes, so these are the sampling is there, but in the examination only spot sampling, channel sampling, these are the things which will ask, but statistical sampling, stratigraphic sampling, nobody going to ask you. Now the next one in this, the precaution in the sampling. What precaution you have to see taken into the consideration when you are going to collect the sample. Certain precautions should be exercised during the sample collection to avoid contamination. That is a very, very important. When you are going to collect the sample, there should not be any contamination. You have to take very care, particularly if the samples are to be examined for smaller microfossils such as spores, pollens, coccolith. Picks and shovels should be clean before the sample is taken. Everything has to be clean. Say once you are used, next time you have to clean and then only you have to go for picking the sample with the shovels. Particular area of rock chosen for sampling should be coarse, not of coarse, and be thoroughly scraped. The weathered surface should be clean. Yes, you have to keep out into the mind that whenever you are going to take a sample, it should be from a clean and fresh sample. So from fresh rock sample, you have to collect the sample. Very important one. When you are going to use the brush, pen brush is usually accessory tool for cleaning the rock surface. For brushing chunks and fragments of sample taken in avoiding contamination. So there are number of fibers will be there. Hairs are there. So when you are going to clean out the surface, see that next time when you are going to use out, clean thoroughly that brush so that anything should not be there. Otherwise, if any fossils, pollens or spores are there, then it will be contaminated. So don't have to make very precaution has to be make out when you are taking using the brush. The usual sample taken into the micropendulal analysis are 200 grams. Yes, the usual sample taken for micropendulal analysis are 200 grams. Photogramming the locality with the sample in place serves to fix the association sample with the field relation. So keeping into the view that if you require the micropathological analysis, a sample will require, then it should be at least 200 gram. Now, but keeping in that we are going to use several times, then instead of this, directly can take out 1 kg sample. So that has to be carried properly. So how much material you have to carry properly till to fill to the your area destination. So keep into the mind and you have to take properly the weight of the sample and the locality of sample in place serves to fix and associate sample with the field sampling. Precaution in sampling. Yes, the qualities of a good samples are a clean sample, representative, identified and sealed in plastic. Once you get the clean sample, representative, identified, and now it has to be sealed in a plastic. All has to be done and you have to be written in the indelible link both outside and inside the container. Sometimes in the plastic bottle as well as in a plastic polythene bag also put down the whatever you are writing the points are there. You have to write down and put it over there, and on the surface also you have to mention the thing that what it is there in that container. I think this will be clear today. The whatever we have, the techniques are there: the spot sampling, channel sampling, statistical sampling, and the statistical sampling. So these are the normal samplings are there. So which we are going to use in the microfossils, but the whatever the you're going for a collection of microfossil, patience should be there, and whatever the delicacy is there, cleanliness is there, proper handling should not be contaminated. That things once you are taken into the consideration, then there will be, once you are done all these field work and collect the sample properly, come into the lab and keep the samples at a proper place, and one by one you have to start making out, taking out and write down the notings and start separating the microfossils from the matrix. I hope this will clear. Next time we'll see the recovery of microfossils from the matrix. Thank you. Have a nice day.